and surrounding area. Tiger Talk is brought to you by Health First Community Health Centers, Hancock's Neighborhood Market on Commerce Street in Cadiz, and Perry's Floors and More.
Get ready for back to school with Health First Community Health Center, offering back to school physicals and immunizations. At Health First, we offer affordable, quality health care for the entire family. Call us to make your appointment today at 1-877-667-7017. Same-day appointments available and walk-ins are always welcome. At Health First Community Health Center, your health is our first concern.
And good morning, and welcome to Tiger Talk here in your hometown radio station, WPKY, the Tiger 805. It's Wednesday. That means it's our extension program. I have the pleasure of welcoming into the studio Shane Bogle. He's our agent for Agriculture and Natural Resources. Good morning.
Good morning.
You're a busy guy.
Always.
I know. I see you drive by here. I get here about 5:30, 5:40 every morning. I see you drive by. You're already out and rolling as well. So
trying to beat the heat, but I didn't have to worry about that this morning.
But not this morning, really. This whole past, it's been pretty nice, hasn't it?
Pretty nice.
And it looks like trending into a little bit higher temperatures, next week. But still, we'll take it for this time of the year.
I'll take what we've had gladly.
I certainly will. Boy, you're very busy. Let's get right at it.
Got lots of stuff going today, Ty, for our grain and tobacco farmers. Our rinse and return program for our pesticide jugs is this morning till noon at Agrichem. Representatives KDA and part of the morning myself will be there to get your jugs taken.
Okay.
So please bring those and clean
get your jugs in.
Bring the jugs in. We recycle those, Ty, and turn those into some useful products instead of them going to the landfill or setting them on fire in the field. Or recycle. That's a different grade of plastic than any plastic that we see in our...
Because it's got to hold those chemicals, right?
Well, it does. It's a higher grade. I forgot what category that is, but you'll see a lot of curbs in parking lots, fence posts. They make several things out of those jugs. So, that's a good thing. So bring those out anytime starting 5 minutes ago till noon today at Agrichem.
That's at Agrichem.
That's right. Well, Ty, I guess you're starting to see equipment still running up and down the roads. A lot of center pivots running. We've had a little bit of a dry spell. Mm-hmm. And right now we're making bank with those center pivots on filling out our grain. So for the most part, things are looking pretty decent countywide.
Good.
We still got a few trouble areas that the wet affected some places more than others, Ty. Early on, we think of moisture in a good context for crops, but we can have too much.
Right.
And just within a month period, we had about 14 inches in about a month period when that planting window was going on, and there was some places in the county that just did not get planted.
Yeah.
So tobacco, we're going to see, we're going to be long for combine's going to be in the field, Ty.
Yeah.
I have seen some corn that's already
got
a little cast to it and starting to change, and it kind of got me thinking of fall.
Well, I had my windows down yesterday. I drove through a back road out in the northwest part of the county yesterday. Boy, it was a nice ride, beautiful evening, and a hint of fall in the air, and that corn. I went right through a bunch of cornfields. Boy, you could smell those tassels, and it just smells good. Not a smell like it.
Yeah, and we've the moisture that we've had this year. Usually we're so dry right now. It's brown everywhere you see. It's been kept fairly green this summer.
Exactly.
And folks, that's kind of deceiving. Yeah, we've had some rain, but we are a little bit on the dry side now. So the rain, we got about 3/10 in some places in the county last night. It was needed, and we need probably about an inch right now to.
Yeah, it seems a little dry, but with moisture too comes the potential for disease on our crops, doesn't it?
That is true, and lead into that, Ty, is southern rust, which is a white corn problem disease and has been found in Kentucky.
Okay.
So we are monitoring that real close in this area. We are a little ahead. That disease is behind this year, so a lot of our spraying has been done. A lot of our corn is mature already. and hopefully that will not be a problem. But we are watching for that, so definitely farmers in your white corn, be looking for that southern rust.
And they need to let you know or somebody know if they see anything.
I've actually found the only
You've been
case,
out, I know.
We found the only case in Caldwell County last year
Okay.
that was, and I just walked in a field and walked right to it, and that was the only one that was ever found. Something. So that was helpful to know that it was here, and folks sprayed accordingly and got things taken care of. So being out in those crops and looking around, very important this time of year for sure. So I don't have a radio show until next month, Ty,
right.
And it is about time for the West Kentucky Beef Bash.
I saw the posting today. I shared it. I'll share it again, and
Thank
that
you
is coming
very
up
much.
in September, right?
Yeah, Dr. Roy Burris, the beef specialist at the Research Center, is retiring, and that will be his last hoorah. The Beef Bash has been going on. I didn't really realize how many years that they've been having that, but I had records back to 2008.
Yeah.
So it is a nice event, Ty. They go on the very back of the Research Center in their beef unit and spend from 8:30 to 5 o'clock on all things beef and forage related. And the cattlemen will be there again cooking lunch for that this year. We'll have vendors, seed companies.
I mean, that's a really cool event, isn't it?
It's a very good event, Ty. It's a social event that, with education all wrapped up.
Yeah, I mean, you can't beat it. And something good to eat.
That's right.
and it ain't chicken.
No, it is not chicken. That is right, Ty. We will have ribeye sandwiches.
There you go.
With the Caldwell Lion Cattlemen Association will be there cooking for that. And Roy and the team out there does have a great program. They're still finalizing that, so that's not online yet. But
and congratulations to Dr. Roy. I mean,
yes.
he's he's been many years out there, very knowledgeable, very well respected in his field.
That's
and,
right.
And kudos to him.
Came to our Cattlemen's Association meeting a couple of weeks ago, and he said, well, what would you want me to talk about? I said, talk about your career.
Yeah.
What has changed throughout your...
my goodness.
It was good. He had a bunch of pictures from the old days.
And it has changed, hasn't it?
Yes, it was a very good walk down memory lane for him and for a lot of our older
really
cattlemen
cool.
that was in that group. So again, that's September the 20th at the Research Center up on top of the hill. Just follow the signs and come out and enjoy a nice day.
Yeah, that's great, and we will continue to promote and talk about the Beef Bash as well. Is there a time? I know is that as a reservation type event?
It is not a reservation.
It is not.
It's just
Okay.
to come
Good
and
deal.
show up. We'll be prepared for that. We know about what
you're going to
expect.
have. Yeah,
we've done that several years now, and there'll be some door prizes and lots of vendors there to see some newer hay equipment, newer tractors, seed companies. Fertilize. It's just a great trade show day.
And it's about the cattle and the forage.
That is correct. Well, Ty, I tried to do a couple of radio shows a year on some of the things that I get the most calls about in a year. And this year, I definitely have got more calls about bagworms on our evergreen trees than I ever have.
Well, yeah.
It seems to be a very bad year for that. And so what in the world do I do? Ty, that's... What do I do?
Take a flame to them. That's
Usually when I get the call, Ty, the damage is already done, and it's time to do something else. But bagworms are caterpillars that make spindle-shaped bags that hang from their trees, and they are a major pest of evergreens and shrubs. Now, they'll be on other things. We just don't notice it on our maples and things, but they do affect that, but they are much more attracted to evergreen trees. And bagworms will strip the trees of foliage and cause them to die.
Yeah.
And deciduous trees, maple, locust, willow, we'll see them on there, but rarely. Bagworms in the larval stage of a moth are rarely seen. So, we got worms, moths, the life cycle, and that's what's important about bagworms for folks to understand is that life cycle when we're talking about control. Only males develop into moths. So the females stay as the caterpillar she stays in the bag her entire life.
Really?
So people say, well, they've done hatched and done.
And
their
she's
thing
probably got
now.
one purpose, doesn't
But
she?
she's got one purpose.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that purpose in a minute. But bagworms overwinter as an egg inside the female's bag, and May or early June, those eggs hatch. And the small larvae crawl out from the bag, and immediately they start eating. And using silk, bits of leaves, bark, twigs, they soon start to build the cocoon around themselves to start the process all over again. And as the larvae grow, they'll add to the bag, making it large enough to allow them to come in and out of the bag when it's disturbed, whatever they need to do. And by early September, the bags reach their maximum size. Some of them will be up to 2 inches.
Yeah.
2 inches in length.
That's those things you see hanging off of them.
That is correct. At this time, the larva will permanently suspend these bags with silk to the. If you ever try to pull one of them off, it's not just snap, it comes off.
No,
you have to tug on it. Yeah. The larva will then transform into pupa and the resting stage prior to becoming an adult. When the adults emerge in late September, the males will be about an inch wide wingspan of the moth that's going to fly. They are active flyers, and immediately they're looking for a mate. And if you see a creamy white moth, that's what that is. If you're seeing that around your evergreen trees. So the male flies to the female bag, and then they do their thing, and that female can lay up to 1,000 eggs.
Wow. But that's all she's there to do.
That's
to
all
reproduce.
She's there to do, and then they hatch in May, and the process starts all over again. So the bagworm larvae have two means of moving around, and I have actually seen this time maybe once, maybe twice, but of course just crawling, doing their thing,
right.
But they'll also travel by wind on a string.
They'll have a silk string, and they'll.
So they can fly by wind, a pretty good distance. It's called ballooning, and they just use Mother Nature to move to the next thing.
That is so awesome.
Bagworms are often kept at acceptable levels. We see exceptional trees that completely died. We see some that's partially affected, but we actually have parasitic wasps. There's some birds that naturally attack that. But 9 times out of 10, we've got to do a little help to get that. So management of that, hand-picking those larvae or those bags off of there is the best way. I remember last year, Coda at the city up here, he called. He said, "Man, I got bagworms all these trees. What I do?" I said, "Get you a ladder, man.
Start picking them off."
That's what he did. Picked them all up there at Planters Park.
Yes.
So there is no margin of error. You can do about 90% effectiveness by just keeping those picked off of there. And about now, you're seeing those, and they're going to, in the next month, they'll be getting the full size. So be looking for those and picking those off. And as few as 9 surviving newly hatched larvae on a small evergreen can result in enough damage to be noticeable that we need to do something. And insecticidal sprays is the next thing. And there are lots of products out there, Ty. When we're talking about spraying, we're talking about doing this in May, June.
Right when that cycle starts.
Right as those eggs are emerging or the larvae is coming out and they're starting to do their thing, that's when our control measures, when we're seeing them right now, the damage for that year is already done. We're looking ahead to next year. So the recommendation right now is folks to go get those larvae off those trees, ladder, whatever you need to do. I know some trees are too big to do that too, but if it's at all possible, get the ones that you can reach and see,
right,
and then be ready for May, June of next year to start a spray program. And some common insecticides that are readily available around here: Ortho Tree and Shrub Insecticide, Captain Jack Dead Bug Brew.
Captain Jack Dead Bug Brew. I love it. That's a great name.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yes. And Bayer Multi-Insect Killer. There's several things. There's some BT products, some safe products if folks do not like to use some chemicals. There are those available, Lowe's, Home Depot.
You just got to research that a little bit, don't you?
Yes, and we've got this publication. It's got them all spelled out there with the names and everything that you need. You are welcome to that. You call the office. We'd be glad to send that to you. And we've sent a bunch of these out this year.
Yeah. There's no doubt. I mean, and I think it is cyclical. Some years are worse than others. Now, what are those things that you see? They're like in a big old web and it's full of worms. What are those called?
Most of those are the eastern tent caterpillar. We see those a lot on cherry trees.
Because you hear some people confusing those with they'll call them bagworms because they think that's
is kind of a universal thing there. And yes, that's
what I kind of wanted to kind of bring up.
Eastern tent caterpillar, and that's what you may have heard of some problems with mare reproductive loss syndrome. Have you ever heard of that?
No, I have not.
Well, in eastern Kentucky, it's a big deal. Cherry trees are kind of a no-no to have around pastures anyway because they have some toxic qualities to our livestock. And number 2, that's where the caterpillar likes to start that web and do. So as they drop down and they're feeding on the grass underneath, they're actually letting out toxins that can cause mares to abort babies.
I have heard that we had a problem in the state with that several
We
years
did.
ago.
We did.
And
We went on a big cherry
Yes,
tree
exactly.
eradication
Yeah.
and watching for those. And I think we have done a very good job. I don't hear about them near
No.
as much. We still watch.
But that's what it was. They were those horses were getting poisoned, weren't
That
they?
is exactly right.
Yeah.
So that's when you see the big white streak of web. The best thing to do when you see that developing is go out with a stick or some fire.
Yeah, that's what I've seen people
get that
put a
down.
flame to them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. Well, great information, folks. And if you're seeing these type of issues again, damage is done for this year, but you can be proactive and take those off, those spindles that are hanging down, and then of course be ready for next year. And this publication, this information that Shane has out of at our extension office is just what you need. So. Good tips.
Ty, there's lots going on. Equipment is on the road.
Yes.
We're seeing a lot of sprayers and stuff now, but in about 2 more weeks, we'll start seeing some combines and stuff being moved around. So
so be
watch
mindful
out
of that. Be
for
mindful of that, folks, and just take your time. Again, it's a pretty day. Roll down your window and just enjoy God's green earth. That's
right.
I got to say. Shane, thank you so much,
Thank
man.
you.
It's always a great, informative show, and we certainly appreciate you being here. And each Wednesday, folks, it's our UK Extension program. Our agents out of our UK Extension office on 62 West. They're helpful folks. I call it the brain trust of Caldwell County because there's one in every county, but they have information that's research-based, whether it's gardening, cooking. You think of a topic, they have some information on it out there. And Shane is our agent for agriculture and natural resources. He'll be glad to answer any questions that you have. Give him a call, 365-2787, or any of the friendly agents out there. Shane, thank you so much.
Thank you, Ty.
All right, that's going to wrap up Tiger Talk on this Wednesday morning. It's our extension edition, and tomorrow we got a treat for you. We'll have some folks from our 4-H shooting sports team in here in the morning, and they'll tell us about their successes of this year, and it should be a lot of fun. So stick around for Tiger Talk tomorrow at 8 o'clock. That's going to wrap it up today. Thank you for joining us. For Shane Bogle, Ty Engelbright, have a great day, everybody. Hancock's Neighborhood Market on Commerce Street in Cadiz is the place to